Good afternoon, early evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Real Chill Conversations. We got Dominique in the building showing her face today, looking beautiful.
Yes, feeling beautiful.
I'm so happy to hear that. I know you had a challenging couple of weeks, but you powered through it, you prayed through it, and look at you coming out on the other side, shining brighter than ever before. We love to see it, love to see it.
Yes, all thanks to God.
Of
Yes.
course. Now, we had some conversations and then some things were posted in the group. And of course, the news broke about this Tyler Perry lawsuit. And I was like, hold up, wait a minute. Let me read what's going on here. So, I read this story and, of course, checked in multiple places to see what different people had to say, what different news outlets had to say, and all of that. And I was like, let's talk about this. Let's make this our topic for today. So, we're going to get into it. And I'm really curious, to hear your thoughts on the whole situation and the subject of this Tyler Perry lawsuit. And I would like to point out that Tyler is clearly unbothered by this lawsuit because he was spotted just a couple of days ago in Paris hanging out with Tina Knowles, Beyonce's mama, at one of her concerts, the Cowboy Carter tour. So he seems to be unbothered. And do you think that's because he really has nothing to be bothered about? Or do you think it's he's got enough money to, bring on a very effective legal team that'll help him fight this and not have to worry about paying out this 260 million that's being levied against him by one of
Oh,
his
oh no,
former
ma'am.
actors?
I definitely feel like he has to be bothered. Um, and maybe presentation like out in public, of course. He's
Mm-hmm.
probably not gonna look bothered.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, he has a lot to be worried about, especially because of the details that were in those text messages.
Right. 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 Now, this person that has levied the lawsuit against him is someone that was a former cast member of one of Tyler Perry's
Actor,
shows.
yeah.
Yeah, called The Oval. I don't know if you've ever watched that show.
Well,
I've
he was
watched.
on two of his shows.
Yep, yep. And
Hmm.
I've watched a couple of episodes and I've seen him. So they, clearly had some kind of knowledge of one another that was more than just actor, director, or producer of a show, based on some of the text messages that were being sent out and communicated back and forth. Tyler did not at any point kind of say, like, man, I don't really know who you are. I don't really know what you're talking about. Kind of get off my line. He engaged in conversations with this person. So,
I
you
don't
know,
think he was too interested either. You could
hmm
tell in the text messages.
right. Right. Definitely not too interested. But do you think that this is something that has been going on for some time
Hmm.
and that this actor is just one of the first to actually take the step forward and, levy a claim? Because, there had been rumors, like, if we rewind back to the whole Diddy situation, there had been rumors for some time about different situations and things that were going on, but they all kind of got dismissed and swept under the rug. But then Cassie came forward and she filed her lawsuit, which got settled in less than 24 hours. And then after she filed her lawsuit, other women started to come forward and file their own lawsuits. And they're like, well, if Cassie can do it, then I have a claim as well because the same thing happened to me. Do you think that that situation is something similar? Do you think there's others out there that have been impacted by this?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I feel like a lot of people want wanted to come out and say something at some point, but they were always looked at as crazy because more money always win.
Right.
So I think right now you're getting to see the real action what Hollywood is all about, and it has to change. It has to change. It has to come to a point where people are not recruited for to be a sex slave. You
Right.
know, they're actually recruited for their talent. And I feel like, you know, it's a lot of that. It's your favorite actor, your favorite singer, your favorite, you know, like you're gonna see them. You're gonna see it come out more and more and more, because I feel like it got to a point where they, like, people that actually had talent, they faded away.
They did.
And people that really don't have talent, and I'm sorry to say, some people don't, you know, they get paid for it, and they
Right.
get paid big money for it.
Right.
So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised if there's, you know, slaving going on for sex.
Right. Right.
And
I
that's
think,
not okay, because these are real people. So for the example, and you mentioned it, Cassie. I mean, she had, I believe, one song that really took off and
yeah.
a lot of people liked.
Yep.
Um, I mean, I can't name her songs, you know what I'm saying, because I don't listen to them like that. But look at what she went through.
Absolutely.
That's not a couple relationship type of situation. That
Right.
was more of, yeah, sex,
Mm-hmm.
slaving, you know,
Yep.
like, I'm gonna give you this and you need to do this and you need to work for me. It was right there in our face. And we never know, like, all those times she was on the red carpet or she was going to all these events, how that girl felt in the inside.
Right. And what was taking place before the events, after the events, during the events. I mean, reading some of the court transcripts and talking about confrontations in hallways and bathrooms and things like
This
that.
is real people that you're talking about. This
Yeah.
is real people that had to go through those nightmares. And you know, and people be like, "Oh, you know, she was in on it." She might have been. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But once a person says no and no longer wants to participate in those things, and it has gotten worse to the point where they cannot even function,
Right.
no, that you need to let that go.
Right.
I
Absolutely.
mean, you don't just keep doing that to somebody. I don't care. You know, especially if you're drugging that person or
Mm-hmm.
you're putting stuff in their drinks and stuff like that. You know, that's not at their own will. That's
No,
not
it's
at their
not.
own will. You're taking advantage of them.
Absolutely taking
So you're
advantage of
gonna
them.
see a lot of this stuff come out, and I've told you, you're gonna see it from your favorite people. And I like your title. Oh no, Tyler Perry, because I couldn't believe it. I was, you know, I'm shocked. Like,
Yeah.
you know, these people come out and they have all this money, and they act like they cannot get someone that want them. Do you know
Ex-
how many people will want them? But why are they wasting their money and their livelihood and their freedom to be with people that don't want them?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I mean, it's really, to me, it's just so frustrating because I just feel like the whole industry, if you want to be in an industry where you're going to have fame and you're going to have recognition, and of course you're going to be highly compensated for, what you're doing, and yes, there's certain sacrifices and things that you have to make in order to be in that industry. It just almost feels like there's a hazing process that goes on. It's like, well, how bad do you want it? Do you want it bad enough that you're going to meet me in my hotel room, for drinks, and I'm in my robe with no clothes on underneath, and now all of a sudden I want a massage? I mean, all these kinds of things and these stories that we hear about people and the casting couch and what they have to do or what they were subjected to do or how far they were willing to go in order to get that job or that role,
Right.
is just terrible. And when the story came out, my reaction really was, oh no, because I couldn't believe it. The person that Tyler Perry presents himself to be is not this Tyler Perry that is the subject of a $260 million lawsuit. I felt like he understood people that had gone through abuse, whether it was emotional, physical, sexual. He had a period of homelessness where he was living in his car. He was coming from a place where he started from the bottom and now he's here. And I just wonder, like, does something in your mind change when all of a sudden you become famous and you have all this money that makes you feel like you're now exempt from the rules of being a good person and a genuine person and a kind person? Because no person that's genuine, real, or kind is going to subject another human being to any type of abuse or any type of
But
mistreatment.
that's the thing. People that usually come from that, and these are people who have talked about their past. And it seems like, they just repeat the cycle. And
Yeah.
because um, they have power and money, they start to groom these people into having, like, acting like I really like you. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Just to get them
Yes.
to do whatever it is they want.
Right. Exactly.
Um, and that's sad. But like I said, most of these people that, like the Diddy case, they did say that when he was younger, you know,
Yep.
it was some stuff like that going
Yep.
on
Some
in the
abuse. Yep.
household.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, to me, these people are not right in the mind to begin with. But that does not excuse them of the horrible things that he did, or they say he did, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Um, but it's sad. It's sad, and I don't care how people put it. Like I said, because these are real people that you're talking about. So if a person tells you no, it's no. If a person is not going that route with you, and I think it does have to be cleaned up. It do have to be cleaned up in order for us to see the real talent.
Yeah.
Because right now, I don't really listen to music. I
Right.
do on TikTok, and I do my
Right.
little TikToks and stuff like that. But I'm talking about while I'm riding in my car and stuff. I used to do it. But nowadays it's not too many songs
Right.
that I play. So yeah. And I think Monique came out about it one time.
She
And,
did.
and
She
they
did
try
have
to
some.
hush her up.
She had something to say about it.
Everybody had an
And
issue with what she was saying.
mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, sick and tired of they're not making a lot of money. Look how Taraji, worked and bust her butt
Right.
trying to make some money.
Yep.
And really and truly, when these people are in a spotlight, they need another kind of money because they have to protect themselves.
Yep.
It's they have to live a different lifestyle. You can't live in a neighborhood with everybody.
No, you can't. You
You know what I'm saying?
absolutely
As much
can't.
as you would want to,
Yeah.
but I don't think that would be smart.
Yeah. It wouldn't be. I just think we've been doing the podcast for a minute now, and we've encountered a lot of different situations, a lot of different topics that we've talked about and we've discussed. And there just seems to be this common scenario or this common theme of people that have money and people that have fame and people that are in positions of power seem to feel like they are above, you know, repercussions and reprimand from the rest of the world. They don't have to adhere to the same set of rules that you and I have to adhere to. We couldn't get away with half of the stuff that these folks are out here doing, nor do we have the money to hush them up and have them be quiet. I'm not walking around with a bunch of NDAs, you know,
Exactly.
in my bag talking about, well, if you come over to my
Don't
house and
come
hang
here
out,
and
you got to
sign
sign
this.
this paper.
Come here and sign this first
Right.
before you become my friend. Before you hang with me at these parties.
Right. Right. Because I don't want my stuff getting out. That should be the red flag right there. You got to sign
I
a
mean, I'm just
confidentiality
saying, like,
clause.
this is a very corrupt system, y'all, in the Hollywood world. In, in the real world, too. But today we're talking about Tyler Perry.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to me, based on the text messages, I don't think Derek, I believe that's his name,
Yep.
was trying to go there with him. He sounds like he just wanted a job.
Right.
Um,
And he was just trying to be respectful and just
mhm.
trying to, you know, he wasn't trying to lead him on in any type of
Right,
way.
right. And this is more serious. I'ma say this. Yeah, because he's accusing Tyler Perry. So
Yep.
it's gonna be serious.
Yep. Yep.
I
Um,
mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't be surprised if they open up an investigation.
I agree with you there. Um, I did want to talk about the text messages a little bit.
Oh yes. Go ahead.
So, according to Derek Dixon's lawsuit, in which he's accusing Tyler Perry allegedly of alleged sexual harassment, misconduct, and also he brought out a series of exchanges which turned out to be text messages against the filmmaker, actor, and producer. So, in the legal documents, Dixon said that he first became an object of sexual desire from Perry from the time he was cast on the series and shared other texts that became increasingly flirtatious. One text in particular, Tyler Perry allegedly told Dixon that he was jealous of him taking a walk with another man. So let's pause there for a second. You are Tyler Perry, right? You have an actor that's working for you on one of your shows, right? You're text messaging with that actor, not about, hey, what do you think about changing this scene to this? Or how about we have your character do this? He's texting him that he's jealous that the actor has gone for a walk with another man. Why? Why?
He's not a straight man. Allegedly.
Allegedly. But my point with that is I've exchanged text messages with my boss, right? And our text messages had to do with before I started working where I'm working, he was checking in to make sure that I received everything, you know, that I needed, that I got my laptop and all my, you know, office equipment and all this kind of stuff and whatever, whatever. Um, he's also was going to be out of the office one of the days, and he asked, you know, three members of the team to send him a text message and just give him an update on a couple of things that we were working on. So yeah, we exchanged the text messages, and it was just the straight information. That's it. No, I'm going for a walk on the beach with a man
Right.
or, you know, or anything else. So it's not the fact that he's texting with his boss that I think is improper or unprofessional. I think it's the context of those messages in
Right.
which Tyler is texting.
And he was and Derek's lawyers were definitely very detailed
Yes.
about how this situation was. Like, they really put some things in there.
So we'll talk about some of those things. One of those things that was put in there is a message that asks, what is it gonna take for you to have guiltless sex? Have y'all found that yet in therapy? This is a question that Tyler Perry allegedly wrote in a message. And then Dixon suggested that he had religious guilt, which Tyler Perry then went on to appear to dismiss that he had religious guilt. Now, I don't know what the status is of this actor. I don't know if he's a straight man, if he's fluid, if he's bi, if he's a homosexual. I don't know what his status is or any of that. It's really not my business, really not my concern. But the fact that Tyler is asking him, what is it going to take for you to have guiltless sex? I mean, that falls along the lines of harassment. That's none of his damn business.
Sir, that is none of your business.
And then to ask him, what's it going to take for you to have guiltless sex? Are we now starting to throw some money into the mix? Are we throwing in a trip? Are we
I think there
throwing in
was
a
actually
watch?
a time too where he actually tried to take it.
Yes. Yes, that is also part of it as well. It's like Tyler the more that you read about the whole situation and read the discovery of what the lawyers are talking about for this actor with all these actions allegedly perpetrated by Tyler, the worse that it gets. And the more it's making me give him, the side eye because
I
I just don't
really
understand it.
I'm really upset of the fact, like I'm telling you, like, I don't understand why these people get all of this money and they become millionaires, billionaires. I mean, he could literally have anyone he want, a
Yep,
grown person
yep,
that wants him.
yep.
And I mean, he's Tyler Perry.
He is Tyler Perry, and
And they get hooked on this thing of trying to take it from people, of people that don't want it like that.
absolutely don't want it like that.
I don't understand.
I don't either. And the other piece that was confusing to me was that, there were some rumblings some years ago that Tyler Perry had a child and he was in fact involved in a relationship with a woman. And there were people that were very surprised by that because they didn't think that Tyler Perry was into women.
Right.
I still don't know that to be the case or not. I don't know if he was just
I never
experimenting.
seen him with one.
I don't know if he was just experimenting or not, but he does in fact have a child, and it is stated that he does have an ex partner who is a woman, that happens to be the mother of that child. So I don't know if that was an experiment to see, hey, maybe I do like women, maybe I like men, maybe I like both. I don't know,
Right.
but I just feel like for Tyler to tell the stories that he does in his shows and in his movies that seem to really hit close to home and have such an impact on the audience because we can relate
And
to
he
the topics
do
that he's talking about.
right,
Yeah.
right. And he make movies and plays and stuff like that.
Yep.
And so interesting that Derek actually played a sex worker
Yes.
in one of his plays.
Yes.
Was it a
Absolutely.
play or a movie?
It was a play.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm saying you actually put this stuff in your content
Mm-hmm.
and all these traumatic situations. I just finished watching what's the name of that movie with Taraji?
Straw.
Straw.
Yep.
And I didn't like the end of the movie. I
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah.
Just my personal.
Yeah. I agree.
I feel like the movie was it had a lot of trauma in it.
It did.
And I that was one of my questions to him. Like, why all the plays and all the movies have to have so much trauma?
Because Tyler has experienced so much trauma in his life. I can remember a conversation, and there's clips that are still circulating around and floating around. You could find them with him having conversations with Oprah, and discussing trauma and, trauma bonding and all the different, things
But
that.
that's
Oh,
what I'm saying. That's
yeah.
when he makes, and that's his content. So for
Yes.
him to actually be into something like this, when
Mm-hmm.
he has already experienced these things, is kind of like, why are you making these plays and movies?
Right. Right. It's to me, it's kind of indicative of maybe there's something deeper, and maybe there's a little bit of a problem that is existing, because studies have shown, and I was reading, a lot of different articles, and they talked about, people that have suffered abuse and have been through abuse and have been abused. A lot of times they hold on to that abuse, and they then internalize it. It becomes part of their makeup. And it's like they don't know how to talk about anything else other than that abuse. So I feel like Tyler Perry is using his platform, for that purpose. I mean, at one point, I thought that the purpose was to kind of show people and kind of let the world know, hey, these things happen in real life situations. These are real life people that experience these real life things. But it's like, in every single film or show or play or movie or anything, there's always some kind of traumatic situation or scenario that has to deal with, one of the main characters or surrounding one of the main characters. And so I'm wondering, is he working out his issues with his traumatic experiences in his
Right.
art?
I hope like
You know, I just don't know.
um I just hope that this does not um mm, I'm not gonna say that. I'll hold that.
You hold on to that one.
I'm gonna hold on to that one because my thing is, like I told you, it's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
It's worse things going on, but they're not gonna speak about them
Well, they're
because
not.
there are big people involved. There are big politicians
Yeah,
involved.
there's a lot of different things that are going on, and I want to circle back to these text messages, and talk a little bit more about those. One of the other text messages, Tyler allegedly writes that he was drinking, but he was annoyed that Derek Dixon was apparently avoiding him. Now, sir, this man is avoiding you because he's tired of you harassing his ass. Okay? He wants you to
He
leave
really
him
sounds like
alone.
a teenager.
He wants you to
It
leave him
really
alone.
sounds. It really sounds like somebody that's real young.
Yeah. And Mr. Dixon said that he did his best to tiptoe around Mr. Perry's sexual aggression while keeping on Mr. Perry's good side, the lawsuit states. Mr. Perry made it clear to Dixon that if he ignored Perry or failed to engage in the sexual innuendos, Dixon's character would die in the next season. And indeed, Dixon's character, Dale, was shot 4 times in the chest at the end of the first season of The Oval.
Total manipulation.
Complete manipulation. So this man loses his job on set on a show that was successful, by many accounts, because he wasn't responding to sexual advances, sexual aggression, sexual harassment, and being flirtatious back. And I just, Tyler, I'm shaking my head, man. I'm really disappointed. I am really, really, really
I
disappointed.
am too.
Do you think this is going to go to trial, or do you think that Tyler's going to settle?
If he settles, it's going to be bad. And
If
the
he
reason
settles,
I
he's
say that
guilty.
is because remember what happened to Diddy with them
Yep,
settling that case with
yep,
Cassie.
yep,
I mean, it's just going to make you look bad in the public eye,
yep,
and it's definitely going to make you look guilty.
yeah. If he
So,
settles, he's guilty for sure. I mean,
everybody is innocent until proven
hmm
guilty. And, I
but
may
your
have my
actions,
own opinions and I may look at things at a little bit different, but
yeah,
that doesn't mean someone is guilty.
yeah,
But I feel like if he settles, it's definitely gonna look really bad on him. And then if he just ignores it, ain't no telling how many more people will come out to really squeeze him, like squeeze him in that corner.
right, right.
So, and then two, with these allegations coming from this man, the FBI could potentially open an investigation
Absolutely, absolutely.
because it's not like um they don't do this. And I'm not saying him in particular, but people in Hollywood do this.
Yes, they do. Yes, they
So
do, and it's
this
been
has
proven.
this has become a norm.
Hmm.
So it wouldn't take much.
It would not take much, not much at all. So that that's just kind of what I wanted to glaze over. The initial conversation of this lawsuit. We have a lot of time to see how this thing is going to shake out, how it's going to turn out. Tyler is remaining silent, not commenting on it. He's continuing to live his life and carry on as though nothing else is going on. Like I said, he was just in Paris hanging out with Beyonce's mom at the Cowboy Carter tour and chilling. But we'll definitely keep an eye out on it, and we will definitely keep you guys posted in the Real Chill Conversations chat. Make sure that you
Yes.
are joining us there, meeting us there, dropping your comments. And if you guys find anything out, any other tidbits, any other information, make sure you post it in the chat, but use allegedly now. We don't want to get in no trouble. So, allegedly, you heard allegedly that this is what's going on.
That's the word to use.
Yes, but we will continue to keep a watchful eye over this whole situation. Tyler, I'm going to sign off by saying I'm completely disappointed. And to y'all, I thank y'all for tuning in and joining us for another episode. We shall see you next week.
Have
Bye,
a good day.
everybody.